The temperature seems to be rising rapidly in 2017. During the long holiday in May, most areas in the north are already extremely hot. At this time, the students in Binhai Agricultural University's number 7 men's dormitory building, room 08 on the 6th floor, are in full swing. No pop-up novel website. Old he, take control. Q, come with another E. Holy shit, the jungler from the opposite side is here. Protect me first. Haha, you want to jump over the tower and kill me? Go to hell. Oh, you got the head. Oh, Lao he, why are you trying to steal my head as an assistant? You still used your ultimate move to steal my head. Is it necessary? Yang Lin, who is in the second class of Internet Marketing in the School of Economics, is having sex with his roommate He Tingfei in the dormitory. Most of the students have gone home during the May Day holiday. Even those who have not gone home will choose to go out on the road to have more fun. Only Yang Lin and He Tingfei, who are far away from home and too poor to travel, will stay in the dormitory and spend 7 long days on instant noodles and ham sausage twice a day. Yang Lin is a grade 16 student at Binhai Agricultural University. He is a sophomore this year. Binhai Agricultural University is an ordinary second-tier university. It is inconspicuous in the huge country of China. Many people have never even heard of the name of this university. However, in this era when college students are popular, not being well known does not prevent Binhai Agricultural University from being famous. There are nearly 70,000 students, and Yang Lin is an ordinary person among these 70,000 college students. An ordinary family background, ordinary appearance, ordinary grades, and ordinary communication skills make Yang Lin ordinary. Except for Yang Lin's classmates in his class, only a few people in the entire university know about him. Old he, why do you think you are robbing me of my head? I only have a little money to make an electric knife. Yang Lin clicked his mouse unhappily and continued to add troops while complaining constantly. Hey, my hand slipped. I can't help it when I see the head. He Tingfei is an extremely easygoing person. Even if Yang Lin keeps complaining, He Tingfei is not unhappy at all, but is a little embarrassed. Yang Lin no longer complains when he sees this. In this era, he is like an old man. There are really not many honest people like he anymore. When the blue victory sign appeared on the screen, Yang Lin exhaled a breath. Finally, we have arrived at Diamond. Old he, you have also reached Platinum 1. I will take you to Diamond in the past few days. It's just that there are many primary school students during the May Day holiday. I hope there will be fewer pitfalls. Yang Lin said to Old he with a smile, and Old he naturally laughed twice to express his gratitude. Lao He's family background is similar to that of Yang Lin, so the two have become best friends. Yang Lin's skills are good, and there is no problem in reaching the master alone, but how can he leave a friend like Lao He? Oh, it's 11:30. Lao He, let's have dinner. I really don't know what those restaurants in the cafeteria are doing to join in the fun when people celebrate May Day. They all left. Poor us, brothers. We can only eat instant noodles. Yang Lin took out the instant noodles box under the bed. He bought 2 buckets of braised beef jerky flavored instant noodles and threw one to Lao He. After taking it, Lao He also took out 2 ham sausages from his drawer and threw one to Yang Lin. After Yang Lin took it, the two skillfully broke the ham sausage into several sections and began to soak the instant noodles in hot water. A few minutes later, the instant noodles were ready. Yang Lin opened a website for watching gun version movies and clicked on a newly released American blockbuster to start watching. The shaky camera and the people coming and going could not stop Yang Lin's enjoyment of watching movies. The price of a movie ticket for the newly released movie was enough for Yang Lin to eat for 3 days, so Yang Lin regarded this gun version website as a treasure since he discovered it. Holialu, Yang Lin drank all the instant noodle soup, then threw the empty bucket into the garbage bag in the corner and began to watch the movie intently. At this time, Yang Lin did not notice that the number of clicks on a video at the bottom of the website was increasing rapidly. If Yang Lin clicked on the video, he would see a row of titles written in a blood-like color. The living dead appear. Zombies are not a legend. 2 hours later, Yang Lin took off his headphones and said nonchalantly, "What? The score is so high, but it's just like this, and the special effects are just like that." Yonglin was bored and was about to close the website when he finally saw the video that had reached the first place in clicks. What video is so popular? Is there another door coming out? The fire of gossip in Yonglin's heart burned brightly, and he clicked on the video impatiently. He saw a popular scenic spot in China shot in the video. During the May Day period, the scenic spot was even more crowded with people. The photographer followed the tourists and was squeezed in the sea of people and could only move forward. When the video reached 2 minutes, a scream suddenly came from the distance. This shocked Yonglin because the scream was so real. Then the camera began to shake, mixed with bursts of crying and cursing. Yonglin saw several black figures throwing down the tourists, then opening their mouths and biting the necks of those tourists. Although the shooting place was a little far away from the scene, Yonglin still saw the blood splattering out. Within a few minutes, the tourists who were bitten to death got up tremblingly and joined the biting ranks. The Chinese people's habit of joining in the fun has become a fatal thing at this time. Originally, everyone was gathered around to watch the madman biting people, but they didn't expect that the madman actually bit the person alive and was still devouring human blood. This made those watching the fun vomit out. The few big men who originally planned to go up and pull the madman away were too frightened to rely on them. After the person who had been bitten to death stood up, the crowd finally panicked. Everyone shouted "zombie" and ran outside the scenic spot. Countless people were pushed and trampled. Suddenly, some people in the running crowd couldn't hold back from vomiting. After vomiting, they started to bite people. At the end of the video, a dark, bloody mouth bit the photographer. After watching the video, Yonglin had goosebumps all over his body. This is so *real. Damn it. If I didn't win a gold medal, I would be sorry for the tens of thousands of extras. It's just that the person who was bitten to death in the end posted the video. It's a bit puzzling. Yonglin was scared for a while after watching it. He started to comment on the video, "There is no hot water. I'll get some hot water. I have to eat instant noodles in the evening." After a nap, Lao He got up and walked out of the dormitory with a kettle. "Oh," Yonglin simply responded and continued to browse the website, hoping to find a few interesting videos to watch. At this time, Yonglin suddenly saw that the second place in the video ranking was "Zombies Appeared in Paris Today," and the scenes of devouring humans were extremely bloody. The third place was "Zombies Appeared in New York. The whole city was panicking, and the army has intervened." The fourth place was "A large number of zombies appeared in Tokyo. The whole city was blocked, and the self-defense forces were dispatched." The number of clicks on these videos was increased in the last hour or two, which was the time when Yonglin was watching the movie. At this time, Yonglin's brain buzzed and he lost consciousness. Is it true? Yonglin entered the word "zombie" into the search with trembling hands, and as soon as he pressed enter, countless messages popped up, all of which were about zombies appearing in major cities and tourist resorts around the world. Impossible. Today is April Fool's Day. Yonglin hurriedly took out the mobile phone in his pocket and was about to call his parents, but after making the call, there was a communication system error. "Please try again later." Holy shit. Yonglin just cursed 2 words when he saw that the signal of his mobile phone suddenly dropped from full bar to 2 bars and then completely lost the signal. "No." Yonglin yelled and looked up at the computer, which showed that the network connection was interrupted. "Is this true?" Yonglin said, slumped in his seat with eyes blank for a few seconds, when a series of blood-curdling screams came from downstairs, and Yonglin recognized the voice of Lao He. Lao He. The absent-minded Yonglin yelled and crawled towards the window. Then Yonglin looked out from the window and saw an old man in a white coat jumping on Lao He and biting him hard. Blood spurted out from Lao He's neck. His fist hit the old man's head, but it had no effect, and Yonglin could only watch all this through the window of the dormitory, shouting Lao He's name one after another. Yonglin knew this old man. He was the boiler man in the school's hot water room. A few minutes later, Lao He was completely silent. The blood at this time had already stained the several square meters under Lao He's body red. The old man began to devour Lao He's body. After a few minutes, the old man stopped eating because Lao He stood tremblingly. He got up and let out the same roar as the old man. At this time, Yang Lin, who was crying on the window, attracted the attention of Lao He and the old man. Then the old man and Lao He started running towards Yang Lin's dormitory building. The speed was only slower than the speed of ordinary people. Not good. When Yang Lin saw this, he stopped crying and his heart was filled with despair. Chapter 2: The Cruel Reality. Today's night seemed to come much slower than usual. Yang Lin was lying on his bed, staring blankly at the bedboard above him. Now Yang Lin's mind was blank. He didn't know what he should and should not think about. If Yang Lin hadn't still been breathing and heart beating at this time, he would have been no different from a dead person. Yes, Yang Lin is just an ordinary college student, and he doesn't even have a girlfriend. How can such an ordinary person remain calm when encountering such a huge change? Those people whose expressions remain unchanged despite the collapse of the mountain are either crazy or have been scared out of their wits. After the two zombies rushed into the dormitory building, Yang Lin locked the dormitory door, then frantically used everything he could move to block the door, and even used all his strength to drag several bunk beds in front of the door to block the door. After doing all this, Yang Lin collapsed on his bed in despair. Zombie, how is that possible? It's a movie. Yang Lin finally murmured in the middle of the night. At this time, Benhai Agricultural University was already dark. Presumably, the employee responsible for power supply had also suffered an accident. Either he was bitten by the zombies or he turned towards the zombies inexplicably, Yang Lin thought. Suddenly, Yang Lin thought of his parents. Yang Lin's parents were ordinary farmers. His father would work during the off-season, while his mother would do some small business. It was this couple who raised Yang Lin until he was 20 years old. Although Yang Lin was usually very filial to his parents, the feeling of longing was not strong. Yang Lin couldn't help but worry about his parents under such drastic changes. Unfortunately, he lived in Benhai City, thousands of miles away from his hometown. How could he return to his parents to see how they were doing? Yang Lin cried as he thought about it. Yang Lin wiped away his tears half an hour later. Crying now has no effect other than wasting the little water in his body. Why didn't I go to the zombies? Yes, Lao He didn't turn into zombies by himself, so how did those who turned into zombies change? Yang Lin suddenly thought of this question, and his eyes regained his light. Finding this may not completely solve the zombies, but it can know the origin of zombies. So many scientists can always develop something. At this time, Yang Lin began to think about this extremely serious problem like a sage who is concerned about the country and the people. Oh, dong dong. At this time, bursts of noises from downstairs finally brought Yang Lin, who was about to be promoted to a philosopher, back to reality. After hearing the sound, Yang Lin shivered first, and then knew that it was the sound of zombies starting to hit the door. Fortunately, he judged based on the sound broken. The door that was hit should be the door of a dormitory on the second floor, which is still far away from the sixth floor where Yang Lin's dormitory is located. Damn it! Can zombies find prey? Damn it! Why are all the zombies in the movie so stupid? Aren't those directors cheating? Listening to the sound of zombies constantly banging on the door, Yang Lin finally couldn't help but started to curse the directors who made zombie movies, who asked them to create silly images of zombies. Yang Lin originally thought that zombies were just like the ones in the movie. As long as he was careful, he would not be discovered. Now it seems that Yang Lin's thoughts are really simple. Yang Lin really wronged the director now. The two zombies, the Boilermaker Old Man and Old He, were originally introduced into the dormitory by Yang Lin. The strong human atmosphere in the dormitory made the Old Man and Old He frantically search for traces of humans. Unfortunately, the entire first floor of the dormitory was already full of people. The building was empty. The Old Man and Old He wandered around on the first floor for a long time and finally entered the second floor by mistake. The human scent on the second floor made them search frantically. Unfortunately, there was a buddy in a dormitory on the second floor who had not left. Two zombies smelled the scent and started to bang on the door crazily. And Yang Lin, the chief culprit, is still scolding those directors. No, help, don't hit, get out of here. The guy on the second floor finally couldn't stand the never-ending sound of the two zombies banging on the door and started howling. Hey, it's over. You could have lived longer if you didn't howl. After Yang Lin heard the howl of the man on the second floor, he expressed a sincere silence to him. Sure enough, the two zombies heard the howl and bumped against the door even more crazily. The cry of "oh" rushed into Yang Lin's eardrums. Half an hour later, the two zombies were still banging against the door. Not to mention the buddy on the second floor, even Yang Lin was driven crazy now. Finally, Yang Lin took out a large piece of toilet paper from the drawer, rolled it into two small balls, and stuffed it into his ears to feel better. It was already late at night, and there were not many clouds in the sky tonight. Stars were just hanging in the sky, but now Yang Lin was not in the mood to appreciate it at all. He was still immersed in the pain of the appearance of zombies and couldn't extricate himself. Yang Lin had not had any water from noon until now, but the grief made Yang Lin not feel thirsty. Because in all zombie movies, as long as a zombie appears, it will quickly turn into a global disaster. Yang Lin doesn't know what the situation outside is like now, but it is definitely not much better. At this time in the United States, American soldiers were firing bullets at countless running zombies. The mortar positions behind them also roared, and the shells fell among the zombies, causing a heavy rain of blood. Oh God! Finally, a white soldier couldn't bear the pressure brought by countless zombies, took out his pistol, and put a bullet into his body. Afterwards, one after another soldiers chose to commit suicide, which seemed to be a cowardly act. 3 hours later, these American soldiers finally fired the last bullet, but the order they received was no retreat. Then some soldiers raised their bayonets and killed the never-ending zombie wave, while other soldiers chose to commit suicide after praying. Because there are zombies in the military camps of most countries, only 10 armies can be organized by each country, not to mention that zombies have appeared in the decision-making levels of many countries. After the self-defense forces of the island country drank their last glass of sake, each person entered the position with a grenade and began to shoot at the zombies. When they used up the last bullet, they would turn on the safety of the grenade and rush into the zombies to complete their responsibilities as soldiers. China has a large population, and the problem of zombies is particularly serious. Especially during the tourist season, people's habit of gathering together has created one paradise after another for zombies. But fortunately, China's army is relatively concentrated, and the zombie problem in the army was quickly extinguished after it appeared. Therefore, the loss of the army is not very big, but there has been no news from the Chinese decision-makers for a long time. This makes the generals who have troops in their hands a little anxious. It is a capital crime to mobilize the army without orders. In Europe, humans are resisting, and a tough Nordic man holding a big axe and wearing a thick cotton coat dares to fight 5 zombies alone, even if the zombies are no smaller than him. In Africa, some indigenous people are praying and crying, facing the zombies with their bloody mouths. They are ignorant and can only pin their hopes on wizards. The problem of zombies in South America is equally serious. In just one day, the whole world seems to have been occupied by zombies, and there is no longer a foothold for humans. On the mysterious continent of Antarctica, a large dark green stone was exposed from the melting glacier. It was seen that the part of the large stone exposed to the air was weathering away little by little. Countless small green particles were spread around the world with the breeze, and the exposed part of the large stone was just a drop in the bucket of the whole. It is worth noting that most of the people who turned into zombies on this day were the elderly, the sick and injured, and young children with weak constitutions. However, as more and more parts of the boulder are exposed to the air, what will happen to the zombies in the world? What will happen to the future of mankind? At 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, the buddies on the second floor had already screamed their voices hoarse. Yang Lin lay on the bed in fear and finally fell asleep slowly. At this time, a green particle smaller than bacteria floated into Yang Lin's dormitory through the gap in the window. It penetrated into Yang Lin's nostrils with Yang Lin's breathing. However, Yang Lin, who was sleeping soundly, did not show any abnormality. Yang Lin, who was extremely tired, even snored rarely. Tonight, Desperate screams were heard one after another in other dormitories of Binhai University, especially the screams of a few girls, which were enough to scare the timid thieves to death. Then dozens of zombies heard the screams and roars coming from Yonglin's dormitory. They all ran towards Yonglin's dormitory building. Some of the newly transformed zombies even dragged their exposed internal organs and dropped them on the ground as they ran. However, they seemed not to know and kept running until their internal organs were broken and fell to the ground. Yonglin didn't know all this. Now Yonglin dreamed that he seemed to be flying in his sleep. Chapter 3: Hunger Strikes. I had such a comfortable sleep this time. Lao He, let me make a bucket of instant noodles and pour a cup of hot water, Lao He. When Yonglin opened his eyes, it was already the afternoon of the next day. Yonglin, who had not had a drop of water for more than a day, now felt very hungry. It seemed that Yonglin could swallow all the cows in his stomach. When he woke up, Yonglin felt that he had had a nightmare about zombies, but then Yonglin was stunned for a while after seeing the dormitory door that was completely blocked by him, and his eyes began to moisten again. Damn, why is it real? Why is it not a nightmare? Yonglin became hysterical as he cried, but Yonglin still maintained the most basic sense and did not hit things or cry loudly, because Yonglin knew that sound could attract zombies. Latest chapter reading. Dusk came again, and Yonglin's voice had become hoarse from crying. Now Yonglin's hungry stomach was filled with acid, and he even felt his stomach twitching. No, cheer up, there is no point in crying. I have to eat. If I don't eat, I will starve to death without zombies. Yonglin rambled for a while, and the cruel reality made the fragile Yonglin a little nervous. Be strong. Yonglin encouraged himself, and then made a powerful movement, but Yonglin found that he still wanted to cry. Yonglin wiped his nose in tears, and then took out a bucket of instant noodles from under his bed, braised beef jerky flavor. Yonglin skillfully opened the package of instant noodles, tore open various seasoning packets, and poured the seasonings into the bucket of instant noodles. After doing all this, Yonglin found that there was no hot water. Lao He went to fetch hot water when he was bitten to death by the old man in the boiler room. Damn, there is no water. Yonglin licked his dry lips. Yonglin even felt that his throat was starting to dry up. Eat it dry. In desperation, Yonglin had no choice but to eat instant noodles dry. However, Yonglin stuffed the instant noodles into his mouth and chewed them but couldn't swallow them because his throat was so painful from the instant noodles. No, I can't swallow it. I have to find some water to drink. Yonglin spit out the chewed instant noodles back into the instant noodle bucket. It can't be wasted. After Yonglin said these 4 words, he began to look for drinking water, but Yonglin searched around and couldn't find any water to drink. In desperation, Yonglin glanced at his crotch. No, we haven't reached that point yet. Then Yonglin rejected his idea. At this time, Yonglin suddenly smelled the smell of instant noodles. It was the smell of the instant noodles discarded by Yonglin and Lao He 2 days ago. Yonglin suddenly had an idea and rushed to the garbage bag in the corner. After rummaging for a while, he found an instant noodle bucket with some instant noodle soup. It was the instant noodle bucket that Lao He had discarded. Yonglin always drank up all the soup when eating instant noodles. Holilu Yonglin drank the instant noodle soup in one breath without thinking. It feels good. Yonglin finally stopped being thirsty after drinking the instant noodle soup. Then Yonglin ate his bucket of instant noodles. After eating, Yonglin felt that he was only 30% full. He forced Yonglin to look at the drawer where Lao He kept the ham sausage. No, I don't know how many days I'm going to be trapped. You have to hold on. Yonglin babbled to himself, but his eyes were fixed on the drawer and could not move. 3 minutes later, it's so delicious. Lao He actually hid so many ham sausages. There were already more than a dozen ham sausage skins under Yonglin's feet, and Lao He's drawer was now empty. 10 minutes later, what did I do? I wiped it. That's life-saving food. This doesn't mean that I only have 2 barrels of instant noodles left. Yonglin said, looking through the box of instant noodles under his bed. The future is dark. Yang Lin sighed in frustration. Night gradually came, and the roars of zombies were particularly scary in the quiet night. Even though Yang Lin closed the window and stuffed toilet paper in his ears, the ghostly howling still penetrated Yang Lin's ears. "I'm going crazy," Yang Lin growled, then rushed to his laptop and turned it on. Then he put the headphones into his ears, selected a small movie on the F-disc, and started watching so that the roars of the zombies gradually faded away from Yang Lin. There is still 30% battery left. Yang Lin didn't care about the content of the movie at all, but stared at the battery of the computer. "Turn it off." Yang Lin used strong willpower to make himself click the shutdown button. How did the night pass? It was probably because he had slept for a day. Yang Lin was not sleepy at all now and could only stare at the ceiling in trance. "I want to live. Yang Lin looked at the ceiling and said his biggest dream at this time, but it seems a bit extravagant. Yang Lin then said self-deprecatingly, "In the world of zombies, who dares to say that he will be able to survive?" Live. Yang Lin kept saying, as if he wanted to brainwash himself. Yang Lin didn't even know when he fell asleep. A few green particles floated into Yang Lin's nostrils at night, but Yang Lin still slept soundly. Some humans in the world were hiding in the corners. Soon after inhaling the green particles, they began to struggle in pain, and after a few minutes they roared and became one of the zombies. Others only felt a little uncomfortable after inhaling the particles, but did not turn into zombies. However, there were only a few people in the world, like Yang Lin, who had nothing happened. In the middle of the night, Yang Lin was already asleep. At this time, he suddenly remembered the roar of cars on the highway in Binhai City, and they were large vehicles with huge horsepower. On the road 10 miles away from Yang Lin, a convoy was crushing through countless zombies, heading towards the less populated mountainous area. Rushing towards the convoy was led by a large truck. With thousands of horsepower, the truck ran rampantly among the zombies like a dragon. Countless zombies were crushed into mud. Behind the truck was a double-decker bus, and finally several modified off-road vehicles. "Hey, old horse, go faster. The car at the back is almost stuck." A middle-aged man in the first off-road vehicle was using a walkie-talkie to say to the driver of the big truck, "Okay, I got it, Brother Long." Lao Ma's voice came from the walkie-talkie in the man's hand, and then the speed of the big truck increased again, and the other vehicles quickly followed up, and all the zombies that were close to the big truck were knocked out. Some of them fell apart in the air, but even so, the rearmost off-road vehicle was gradually trapped in the bloody quagmire of zombies and could not move. "Brother Long, help me." A desperate call for help came from the walkie-talkie in Brother Long's hand, but Brother Long closed his eyes and didn't speak, and the rest of the people didn't speak either, because everyone knew that parking was tantamount to death. The convoy gradually left. Half an hour later, the window of the off-road vehicle at the end was finally knocked open by zombies, and its pitiful screams pierced the dark night. Brother Long is the leader of a security company in Binhai City and has a deep relationship with the people on the street. After the zombie outbreak, Brother Long quickly organized his people and then used several large trucks of the company to leave Binhai City and take shelter in a place with fewer people. Brother Long knew that Binhai City has too many people and zombies are absolutely inevitable, so it is absolutely unsafe in Binhai City. When morning came, Brother Long led his men and finally left Binhai City. Brother Long's younger brothers all roared with excitement, while Brother Long looked at the truck and the supplies on the bus and showed a domineering smile. In this lost era, in addition to zombies, there is also no shortage of people with ambitions and ideas. Yang Lin was woken up by hunger again. Although he had eaten last night, Yang Lin felt that he was still hungry now. After swallowing a mouthful of spit, he became even hungrier. Yang Lin couldn't help but take out his last 2 buckets of instant noodles and eat them. Yang Lin didn't even let go of the seasonings. He tore up the seasoning packets and swallowed the last remaining seasonings. Damn, why is there no beef noodle in braised beef? Yang Lin complained, but his already not very hungry stomach made Yang Lin feel better. After a few minutes, Yang Lin became sad again because Yang Lin had eaten all the last food, and now Yang Lin was in danger of running out of food. Yonglin stared at the dormitory door that was sealed by him for a long time and finally took trembling steps. Chapter 4, Take the First Step. Yonglin just stared at the dormitory door that was blocked by him for another 2 hours. During this period, Yonglin stretched his hand to the dormitory door again and again, but took his hand back again and again, as if there was something terrible on the dormitory door. Time passed by. It was already noon, and Yonglin's stomach made a growling sound. Damn, why are you so hungry? When I played games all night long, I didn't feel so hungry even if I didn't eat all day. It feels like I'm about to starve to death. Yonglin tightened his belt and said angrily. The temperature at noon was already very hot. Yonglin did not dare to open the window for fear that zombies would smell his scent, so the temperature in the dormitory gradually increased. Yonglin grabbed a book and started to fan, but the sweat still flowed down. When he sweated, Yonglin not only felt hungry, but also thirsty. Half an hour later, damn it, I can't bear it anymore. Instead of starving to death and dying of thirst, it's better to die happily. Now I'll go out to find food. Yonglin suddenly stood up and said righteously. Then Yonglin took the first step towards the dormitory door, followed by the second step. After a few seconds, Yonglin finally met Fenglin. Golu Yonglin swallowed hard, then shook his trembling hands. Fuck it, wipe it, Yonglin growled, and then began to move the bed carefully. Dragging the bed would make a huge noise and would definitely attract zombies. Yonglin still knew this. Hey, this bed isn't that heavy. Yonglin couldn't help but said in surprise when he found that he could easily lift 100 kilograms of bunk beds. It seems that hunger can indeed bring out great potential in people. Yonglin attributed his strength to the stimulation of his own potential. Soon Yonglin would discover how wrong his idea was. Be careful, hey, that's it. 10 minutes later, Yonglin finally removed the last item blocking the dormitory door. Looking at the door handle of the dormitory door, Yonglin swallowed helplessly again. Then Yonglin gently turned the door handle of the dormitory door, and a soft squeak sound came. Yonglin's dormitory door was opened a small crack, and the sound frightened Yonglin. Then a head poked out of Yonglin's dormitory little by little. This was naturally Yonglin's head. Yonglin finally breathed a sigh of relief after taking a look and finding that there were no zombies on the entire 6th floor. Storing some snacks and the like seems to be a habit shared by college students. Sometimes it is because they buy too many snacks because of supermarket promotions. Sometimes it is because they suddenly want to eat some snacks, but after buying them, they suddenly don't want to eat them and can only store them. Therefore, Yonglin has no problem finding some food in the dormitory on the 6th floor. It took Yonglin a short time to look around the entire 6th floor. Oh my god. Why are the doors of every dormitory locked? I'm so angry. Yonglin stomped his feet in anger, but he didn't dare to make too much noise. If it doesn't work, break it by force. I don't believe that the dormitory administrator is still here to find me. Yonglin has always been worried about the fact that he accidentally broke the dormitory door 6 months ago and was fined 500 yuan. 500 yuan is almost Yonglin's snack money for a semester. Yonglin tiptoed back to his dormitory and took out a screwdriver from a drawer. Then he came to the door of the next door dormitory. Yonglin put the screwdriver in the middle of the door lock of the next door dormitory and pressed it down hard. With a soft bang sound, the door lock of the dormitory was opened. Hey, Yonglin turned the screwdriver in his hand and felt good about himself. The next time changed into Yonglin's search time. The first thing that caught Yonglin's eyes was a water dispenser huddled in the corner, and the bucket above the water dispenser was still nearly half filled with clean water. Yonglin rushed directly to the water dispenser without hesitation, picked up the bucket above, and drank mouth to mouth. Gulu gulu. Yonglin drank nearly half of the water in the bucket before he put down the bucket in his hand with satisfaction and wiped the water droplets on his chin. It feels so good. After Yonglin said this, he carried the bucket back to his dormitory to drink slowly later. Next, Yonglin found 2 bags of bread, 3 barrels of instant noodles, 2 dry oranges, and a small bag of spicy strips in the drawers of the dormitory, under the bed, and in the cabinets. Yang Lin, who was so hungry, didn't care about saving food. He opened his mouth and swallowed all the food in a few minutes. He even ate one orange without peeling it in desperation. Hu Ho, why are you still not full? Yang Lin was a little surprised when he saw that he didn't feel full after eating so much. You must know that